used to open businesses, myself and a business partner, we used to open all of these businesses, restaurants, all sorts of different things. But we sometimes used to open them with the core context being, hey, this will be fun. And we once opened a domain name registration business in the year 2000. Also, it was like the subtext of that was, hey, this will be fun. And we're quite greedy because there's a lot of money going into, that was
it's an opportunity.
Yeah. And we lost so much money, we had to sell one of our chip shops, which was very profitable, to pay off the debts with it, which was really painful. So it was, I think, I think the hey, it'll be fun piece actually is really valid for some of us, because I think Peak Water is a fascinating project to me. I can see why you did it.
Yeah, well, you sound like I'd say you're probably a risk taker, John.
Enormous, too much. Yeah. Definitely too much. I less so now, obviously.
I think for me, the Peak Water one actually came from a funny place, which is I respect how hard it is to do certain things, and I respect other businesses. And I actually went to other water companies with the idea.
Okay. And
they basically shut the door in my face.
Right.
And if there's one way to make me do something.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, I understand that.
But I just sort of said, okay, we'll make it ourselves. I didn't think it would be easy, but it's that sort of, and there's that comes with both trepidation, but also the excitement of exploring something that's difficult.
Yeah.
I think for me, if you look at my taking part in barista competitions, but also my new hobby in the last couple of years of powerlifting competitions, I'm now self-aware enough to say I'm a competitive person.
Yeah.
And I think my application to business is where I take the risk is I'm excited by the competition of that. I'm like, oh, it'd be amazing to do something there that hasn't been done. And that's exciting.
Yes.
And that nearly always comes with risk.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a question within that, because I completely get every part of that. When you are making those risks, are you, let's say Peak Water, are you really, it's a hey, it'll be fun, or whatever your version of that is. And look, let's be honest, it really works in terms of having written the book, the platform that you've built, all of those things. It's a sensible business decision. How sensible are you? There's a term that I use that in terms of any project, you need to be short-term pessimistic and long-term optimistic. So you expect everything to go wrong, and then long-term expect that, but hang on, I'm very good at putting my head down and getting the job done. Sure.
I'm definitely saying if this went wrong, I'm thinking now about making sure that it won't be able to take the other things down. The water jug's definitely been the most challenging thing I've undertaken, because, when you flex in another business, when you get something wrong with Peak Water, that's 150 grand, and what that would have done for me is, the question is, would it have killed it with the idea of just died? And we say, look, or would we have kept doubling down? I saw there's Kickstarter, and then there's another one called Indiegogo.
Yeah.
And this New Zealand team came up with this all-in-one portable espresso machine. And I remember seeing it and I thought, wow, that is ambitious. It makes the water jug seem simple.
Yes.
And invariably, they took the money, and that's the thing about those crowdfunding platforms. They're never enough money to do it. You need to find some resource elsewhere. And the whole thing basically failed, and they've doubled down again and asked people for more money, moved their whole family to China, and they're already like $1 million in.
Yes.
And that's, maybe there's a bit of sunken cost fallacy there. Maybe that, maybe they should just call it quits. But I mean, your questions are good. I think, like when things that seem maybe like a whim, they're not. They're for me, when I do a project, it's because it's really hard to argue you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Yes. I'll do one 30-second personal story on this, because I've tried to fund through Indiegogo. So I wrote a golf book that sold extremely well. I sold the film rights. We got half a film made. We spent £1.3 million.
Wow.
And then the major backer turned out to be a con man and didn't put his money in. So we got half a film made, and then we missed then, the weather was important. We tried to get money through from other sources. We went to Indiegogo. But the problem was the sunken cost piece ruined the whole project, because there were original investors who had put money in, and all they wanted to do was some return. We should have actually just started again. And then we could have funded the thing properly because there were all sorts of commercials behind it. But it's a very good example. People get caught up in sunken costs.
Well, I would say right now is that there's sunken cost fallacy everywhere right now.
Completely agree. Because
you had this idea in your head pre-pandemic of where your business was going, what your valuations were, what was your growth goals, and they've just all got to be reset now.
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's a really valid point. And I think the important is it's sunken cost of time and money. So I've actually had a few emails from people going, I've done this amount of years and I'm exhausted, but I know I need to get this money back for it. And it's like somebody buying a business, particularly in tough times, they don't care about your sunk cost.
No, I think when you raise money, that's interesting too, because if you've ever been through that process, the potential investor coming in, they don't care about the last 5 or 10 or 20 years.
No.
They care about the business today and the opportunity today. And I think that's how you have to think about it as a business owner as well.